Hey guys, make sure to stick around till the end of this video because I'm going to be making a big announcement, easily the biggest of my entire voiceover career, so stay tuned. This is the biggest thing I have ever done voiceover for, by far. Guys, it's bright and early, 5:30 in the morning. We're gonna drink this bang and then we're gonna head off to Gold's Gym, lift some arms, and then spend the rest of the day working, and then once that's done, I'll tell you the big announcement. Alright guys, so workout is done, arm session went really well. Now it is time to eat, it's time to break the fast. Now you might not know it from looking at all my ripped fitness modeling photos on Instagram and all that. I'm secretly kind of a fat kid at heart. I really love bar food, wings, mozzarella sticks, onion rings, things like that, fast food, which probably explains why I wrote an entire cookbook with macro-friendly versions of junk food. So one of my favorite late night fast foods to get is the Jack in the Box munchie meals. I love those things. They're like $6 or $7 and you get whatever crazy burger is in there. You get curly fries, regular fries, you get 2 tacos. I think it's a really good deal. However, when it comes to meeting your macros, they're not exactly the best. So today I'm going to show you how to make a macro-friendly version of Jack in the Box's spicy nacho chicken sandwich. And I'm going to show you how to make the sandwich by itself, and if you want to make the entire meal, I'll show you how to do that too. So let's take a look at all the ingredients we're going to be using just for the sandwich. First thing, we've got our thin sliced chicken breast. I buy them pre-thin sliced just because I'm kind of lazy like that, but you don't have to. It really doesn't make any difference calorie-wise. It's just, you're saving yourself a little bit of work. We have got our Nacho jalapeno mild sauce, which is surprisingly, I found the one that had the lowest amount of fat and it's really not that bad. Sliced jalapenos. We've got our organic breadcrumbs here. These are, I think, the best type of panko, whatever breadcrumbs you could possibly buy. I've tried them all. This is my favorite. Got our Kinders, garlic and herbs. I love these Kinders. I have literally like an entire pantry full of just their seasonings. So we're gonna mix this into our breadcrumbs along with chili powder and some paprika to give it kind of a smoky, a little bit of a kick. And then our egg that we're gonna dunk our chicken breasts into for the air fryer. And for the actual sandwich part, we've got our 2 slices of thick sourdough bread. Alright guys, so let's get things started. First thing, we're gonna crack our egg here, which is the egg we're going to, like I mentioned, dunk the chicken through, which is how we're gonna make the breadcrumbs stick to it. And let's get that nice and whisked together with the fork. Now let's make our breadcrumb mixture. We're gonna set our bowl on the scale, zero that out. We're gonna do 30 grams the breadcrumbs, so we weigh that out. For the seasonings, I like to do about a teaspoon of each. Teaspoon chili powder, teaspoon of paprika. Stir that together. Next thing we want is to get our air fryer heating up, so we're gonna do 375 for 12 minutes. Alright guys, so the air fryer is heated up, so we're gonna bread our chicken, spray with a little non-stick 0-calorie avocado oil, make sure the chicken doesn't stick on there. So, put it right over here. We're going to measure out 8 ounces. It's about 3 ounces right there. Give that a good dunk. You just kind of have to ballpark it based on, how much breading and egg you have. Like, we've still got a good amount, so I'm going to give it another dunk, because, why not? Toss that in there. For the next ones, I'll probably just do one dunk because that was actually a pretty good amount of breading that I used. Dredge through the egg there. It's okay if this is sitting out for a minute. These heat up so fast that it's not really gonna like mess it up. Dredge these through, soak up what remaining egg we have. Get every last bit of our breading mix that we've got. It's okay if they're not totally covered, as long as they've got a little bit of, I mean, they're still gonna get crispy. If they're not like totally perfectly covered, it's fine. Spray the top with a little more oil, make sure it gets nice and crispy. So we're halfway through our cooking time, so it just beeped at me, so let's flip these bad boys over. Oh, come on. I could use tongs, but I like to use a spatula so that way none of the breading, you know, comes off. Come on, you can do it. Hey, look at that. Flip that guy over and then we'll do the other 6 minutes. All right, so our burger is done. Take that out and you'll notice that I threw the bread in there. This is optional. I like personally having it a little bit toasted, so I'll just toss it in right on top of the chicken with maybe about 3 minutes of cooking to go. Again, totally optional, but if that's how you want to do it and you don't have a toaster, you can do it that way. It is time to plate up and make our sandwich. Let's go ahead and put our first piece right here. Now next up, we're gonna do just one serving of our nacho cheese sauce here, which ends up being basically like a spoonful. It's that thing that Emerald guy says, wham or whammy. Oh no, that's Anchorman. Get a nice handful. You don't have to measure this out if you don't want to. I'm just in the habit of measuring things, so I do it automatically. You can just kind of ballpark it. These are so, vegetables and things like that are so low calories, it really doesn't make much of a difference. Don't drive yourself crazy with the food scale, but for the sake of demonstration, I'm gonna pull out one, a little bit more. Perfect. Put our last piece of bread on top there. Smash that down, Hulk smash! And Hulk, smash. Oh God, I watch way too many movies. That turned out so good. Look how picturesque that is. Jack in the Box, if you're watching, hire me for something. So this is the finished product, guys. Spicy nacho chicken sandwich from Jack in the Box, and I'll compare and contrast after this to see what you're getting with this for calories and macros versus what you'd be getting if you went to the restaurant. Man, this is excellent. I used to be fat and overweight, and then I started eating Clark's Jack in the Box copycat macro-friendly meals. Now I am thin and happy, and successful with millions of dollars. Now like I mentioned, if you do want to make the entire meal, it's really not that hard to do the rest of it. All you need is some lean ground beef, which I've been using throughout the week, which you can tell because it is in a plastic baggie. We've got some sweet potatoes and yellow potatoes. I already cut them up so you don't have to sit there watching me chop things. Our light mozzarella shredded cheese, and our 2 tortillas that we're going to make the tacos out of. Fries, we've already got them chopped up here. We're just going to throw them in, and we're going to use that same setting, the 375 for 12 minutes. We're going to whip up our tacos real quick, spray our pan, heat it to about medium-high heat, spray that with a little bit of our oil, season with some of our nice more Kinders, Santa Maria. Give a quick spray there. And this is not a lot of ground beef, guys, so this will cook pretty fast. So with our tortillas here, we want to put them in, and this is really important to do this. Otherwise, your tortillas, when you try and fold them, will crack and it will drive you absolutely insane. You want to put them, just spray them a little bit, and just give them like a minute and a half on each side. That'll help them cook through and soften up, so that way when we fold them into a taco, it won't, you know, crack apart and you'll have this mess all over. That is a very sad taco. All right, let's flip these bad boys over. There we go. Now we can load up our tacos right on here. There we go. And one nice thing, because these are nice and hot after being right off the stove, is that we can use that heat to our advantage. I'm gonna grab an ounce of our shredded cheese, try and get it so it's not spilling out. If it is, not the end of the world. Because this meat is nice and hot, this will help melt our cheese without even really having to do anything. Pick this up, fold that closed like that, press it down for a second so that way it stays and the cheese kind of melts there to help it. Give it a nice firm press so everything melts together. And you can see that those already have kind of set together, so just do them for like a couple minutes on each side and you'll have nice crispy tacos that we'll throw on the plate all at the end. Now that everything's done cooking, let's see what the final product looks like. I'll break it down for you in a minute through MyFitnessPal and stuff, and I'll show you what it looks like with just the sandwich. I'll show you what the whole meal's like. We'll compare it to the real meal to see what you're getting using my version and what you're getting if you go to the store. Jack in the Box is not a knock on you. This is just the way to do it if you want to be shredded. So I'm starving. I'm going to throw this down. Then I'm going to go do some work for the rest of the day, and then later tonight we're going to get ready for the big announcement, big event. So real quick, guys, I just want to take you through the difference between my version of the Jack in the Box meal, and I'll do the sandwich and the meal version, and the version you would be getting at the restaurant. So right here I've got MyFitnessPal pulled up. I've got the sandwich only version, and for whatever reason I couldn't find just the sandwich only calories on their actual website, so I found it here on calorieking.com. So if you take a look here, my version's 660 calories. And right here, 750 calories for the one you would get. And you can see carbs, 69 here, 69, and 70 for mine, so pretty similar there. The biggest difference is that you notice my version only has 14 grams of fat, and if you were to buy it there, you'd get 37 grams of fat, so that's less than half the fat. And then for protein, their version is 31 grams, and my version is 69. Just keeps showing up. The universe is telling me something. And that's kind of a principle that you can remember when you're making a copycat fit version of a junk food recipe, is that the rule of thumb whenever you go to the restaurant is that it's typically going to be less protein and higher fat, and that's just because of how they make it. They're going to, deep fry things, they're going to use less lean cuts of meat, fattier cuts of meat, things like that. So rule of thumb to remember when you go to a restaurant and you've made a fit version of whatever recipe you want at home, just remember that rule of thumb, it's going to be higher fat, less protein. So now take a look here, and you can see here's the full meal with the taco and the fries and all that. And then I've got actually that one pulled up here on their actual website. So over here we have protein, we have carbs, and we have fat. Carbs 157. 231, so a little bit higher carbs, but that's all right because I'm not opposed to having higher carbs in my diets and the way I do my macros. But again, the biggest difference that you'll notice here, protein for them 53 grams, protein for us is 100, so twice that, and fat for the whole meal 93 grams for them, 20 for me, which is such a huge difference. Now, just like in anything in life, there is a catch. Obviously, the biggest difference in this is that you saw when I was recording it and showing you the tutorial is that it's a little bit work intensive. I was running around doing like 3 different things at once. Whereas if you actually go to Jack in the Box, you sit in your car, you do absolutely nothing except hand them your card and tell them how much ranch you want, and 5 minutes later, you've got your meal. That's the sacrifice you're making if you do it my way as opposed to just going to the restaurant and getting yourself, is that yes, you're trading convenience for flexibility and fitness if you do it my way as opposed to going there. So just something to keep in mind. Doesn't matter if it's Jack in the Box, doesn't matter if it's Carl's Jr.'s, doesn't matter if it's Cheesecake Factory, whatever. That's the trade-off that you're making if you cook at home and are measuring and figuring out your macros that way. So there you go. That is the difference between homemade, macro-friendly fast food and just going to the store and buying it. So I'm going to finish up some work that I've got to do, and I'm going to change into some normal clothes for once, and then it's time for the big announcement. All right, guys, so here we are. We are at the movie theater. Why are we at the movie theater, you ask? Because 1 year ago, I got to record and do ADR and voice matching for easily the biggest thing I have ever been involved in my entire life. I bought my ticket, we're gonna go in and watch it, and when I come out, I'm gonna tell you guys what it is. Stay tuned, I'll see you in 2 hours. Guys, I just got done watching the movie. Holy shit. That was awesome. That was really good. Well, I've been waiting a year to tell everybody this. I could finally tell you since it's been released. I got to do ADR and voice matching on Thor: Love and Thunder. There it is. And I don't think I can possibly say anything that's gonna make that cool or not make it awkward, so I'm just gonna say thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.